I'm Shanna Covey. Welcome back to my blog. I hope everyone's enjoying the spirit of the holidays. I just love how we as a collective all seem to be more centered in the qualities of our spirit during this time of year. We all seem to be more forgiving, more giving, more loving, more peaceful. All the qualities of spirit just seem to come forth during this time of year. It's actually what's inspired my blog today. I wanted to look at what is it that impedes our ability to live from this state all year long. 'Cause wouldn't that be the goal? So basically what I wanted to do today is sort of tackle some of those things that impede our ability to do that. One of the biggest drivers is external validation and recognition, which is basically our search for completion through something or someone else. This singular driver is what adds to the immense conflict of the world. I want to talk about how that occurs. Some of the things that occur from the drive for external validation are that we place demands on others, or we hold grievances against others, or it's our own selfishness, or our beliefs and attitudes and behaviors that are of the ego. So let's take a look at demands. Now some of our demands we're unconscious to because they're currently being met. Basically what I mean is we place the demand on someone else, but that person's meeting it, and so we are feeling completed through that met demand, but we're not necessarily conscious to it until, or say it all of a sudden changes and is no longer there. At that point it becomes glaringly obvious that we were relying on it, but sometimes we don't see it from the standpoint that we were relying on it. We see it from the standpoint that we want it and we need it back, and we need it back now. So it sends us into some emotion of the ego. We're angry, we're frustrated, or we have self-doubt, or just a number of different reactions from the ego. And another thing that happens is we go into a situation where we are placing a demand on someone else to complete us, and we don't realize we're doing this. That's what happens, and that demand isn't met. Now again, if that demand is not met, again we are swung back into the ego and responding from some emotion of the ego. Usually, frustration, anger. We have a sense of we want retribution, or whatever the case might be. So just let me give a small example from my own personal scenario. A few weeks ago, I went out to dinner with some friends, and I decided to take a little fashion chance on taking a summer dress and attempting to change it to winter attire. And so of course I had a little bit of insecurity about whether or not I had pulled it off, but I thought, I looked in the mirror, I thought, it looks good, but I was still a little nervous. I thought, well, that's fine. Hopefully, I had placed a demand on a friend of mine to hopefully compliment me and then put me at ease. But in entering the scenario, I didn't receive the compliment. So that kind of made me wonder, or swung me to my ego, and I wasn't very conscious of this until retrospect, but it swung me to my ego and it made me wonder, why didn't she compliment me? Is she just being selfish and she just doesn't want to give me the compliment? Or is she being nice and being honest and just biting her tongue? And it just started to mushroom in me. One just bolstered my insecurity, and the other one just made me mad, thinking that possibly she was being selfish by withholding this compliment. So again, you can see, regardless of those two reactions, I was still adding to the conflict of the world. I was not putting out nice energy. And again, I was assigning a quality of selfishness on my friend for not meeting my demand to feel secure in what I was wearing. And I know it's ridiculous from where I'm sitting now, but granted, in that moment I didn't think it was so ridiculous. But again, that is just a small example to say how I basically put a demand on my friend, and when that demand was not met, I swung over to my ego, and it wasn't very pretty. Well, I didn't react outwardly, I'm just saying inwardly, and there's still an energy that comes with that. So these scenarios can happen all of the time. So we place a demand on someone, it's not met, and we hold a grievance, and we point the finger at the other person for not having completed us. I mean, it's ridiculous. I would ask you to look at your own life. Look at any scenario where you're upset or you're frustrated, and look and ask yourself, what demand was I placing in this scenario? I'll guarantee you're placing a demand somewhere, and because it wasn't met, you were swung over into your ego. So again, this driver of external validation just really adds to the conflict of the world. Another thing it does, well, it's the same scenario. We're in a state of selfishness whenever we're placing these demands on others. Our own need to fill whatever this hole is inside of us through some validation of someone else, or someone validating us, puts us in a state of selfishness. Because, well, and it also blinds us. We're selfish because we're making that demand on the other person, and we're blind to any potential opportunity to be of help or of service to someone else. But if there was someone that needed my love in that moment, or needed kindness or compassion, I'm too far over here in my ego worrying about me getting what's owed to me, my little compliment, that I can't even think, I don't even recognize, I don't even see the opportunity to send love and kindness over here. So this is where I see that, this is why I feel like this blog is so important, because these simple little things that we do every day through these demands and through these grievances and through our selfishness, ultimately what it's doing is it's blinding us from helping other people. So how do we rectify this situation? Well, first of all, we recognize is that our completion, our wholeness, our salvation can only be reached through Source. And when we recognize that we were sent here with everything that we need to do the job that we were meant to do, we can stop seeking the external validation and recognition. We can just stop we can stop being in a state of selfishness that has this chain reaction of putting out all these demands and holding these grievances. All that just falls away like a domino effect and opens ourselves up to come into the qualities of the Spirit. Again, when we feel whole and we feel complete through Source, that opens us up to tap directly into all of the qualities of the Spirit. And in that moment, or in that state, we're able to recognize all of the opportunities that have been placed in front of us to be of service to someone else. Because for me, that's what I see that the goal is for us to be here on earth doing. It can manifest in 100 different, a million different ways. But what it is that when we stop seeking our wholeness through some sort of external source, when we feel complete and whole on our own, but through Source, well, all of a sudden our eyes are open. Our eyes are open to tap into every quality of the Spirit. Whatever the scenario is, we can respond with love, kindness, peace, joy, compassion, acceptance, allowance, tolerance, hope, faith. All of that becomes available because we have transcended our ego. We have shifted it out of the way. It's no longer obscuring our vision. That's basically what I wanted to share with you today in this vlog. That's why I felt so excited about doing it at this time of year, when I think everyone is already tapped into those qualities as a collective, that now we can just kind of extend it on into January and throughout the rest of the year. But I hope that maybe all of y'all got something out of today, and maybe can just kind of take a look at what might be happening, what might be playing out in your own life, and just kind of see if you can go ahead and make that shift out of the ego and back into the Spirit. And that's where I see that all the great things can occur. And all right, happy holidays.